Adama Traore has left Wolves. Finally, the saga's over. It's boring. He's gone, and he's gone to Barcelona. Obviously, with an option to buy. Let's be honest, that will be a permanent. It will be a swap with Trincao. We'll talk about Trincao later, but I think this Adama Traore situation is so weird to me because look, I'm glad he's getting nice receptions on Twitter and online. He deserves it. He's been a useful player for us over the last 4 years, I guess. But I think some of the stuff people are talking about on Twitter is absolutely ridiculous with Adama Traore. I think people need to kind of screw their heads on. Like if you go back to 4 years ago when we signed Adama Traore, and look, he was our club record signing at the time. I know we just got promoted, but he was our club record signing, and we all said, okay, there's natural ability there, obviously, but this transfer will be defined by how Nuno and obviously now Bruno can coach him and how they can improve him and how they can put end product in and put work ethic in. Because those are the two issues: end product and work ethic. Right? This was 4 years ago in 2018, and let's be honest, it's been a failure. I know he's going to go to Barcelona for big money, and ultimately that's a profit for Fosun, and that's great. But let's not kid ourselves and pretend Adama Traore has been this a massive success and he's this amazing player, because he's not. Like, all the issues we had with Adama Traore when he was at Middlesbrough, when we signed him, about his end product and his work ethic, they're still the same 4 years later. And look, that doesn't mean you can't love it. I love Adama Traore, genuinely I do. I'm sad to see him go because I like the bloke, but you have to remove sentiment and look at it and go, this is an underperforming asset who we can get big money for and move on. This is exactly the same with Rui Patricio. I remember when we sold Rui Patricio, I did this video. I basically said Rui Patricio is not actually that good. It's a myth. We should sell him and just move on. And I remember people moaning about this in the comments at the time, and people were saying Rui Patricio is world class. He's not world class. He never was. And we brought in Jose Sarr, and things have improved. Everyone went, we sold Portugal's number one, and we've got Portugal's number four, and that worked out very well. And I trust Fosun's decision with this. Look, of course, it's a bit of a shame to lose him mid-season with no obligation, but ultimately you have to do what you have to do. And Adama Traore ultimately he's no different than he was 4 years ago. Let's not try and rewrite history, which I keep seeing our media do and people on Twitter. He's the exact same player he was 4 years ago. Adama Traore has been in England since 2015. He had Remy Gard and Tim Sherwood at Aston Villa. He had Aitor Kranker and Tony Pulis at Middlesbrough. And he's had 2 managers at Wolves. He's had 6 managers in 7 years in England. And he's exactly the same. He's underperforming his XG. His work ethic's terrible. He does nothing defensively. He can't finish and he can't pass a ball. Like, it's just facts. Like, twist it all you want. Say he's unique. Fine, he is unique. But there's a difference between being unique like Lionel Messi because you're uniquely talented and being unique when you're not actually productive. And I think our fans need to accept that. I saw this tweet here: 8th in the league with a game in hand, and we loan out our most exciting player who's just starting to come good. I'm sorry, this is just bullshit. Like, I keep seeing our fans say stuff like this. He scored 1 goal against Southampton. If that's the benchmark for coming good, mental. Like, and look, obviously Trincao is going to come the other way at the end of the season. It looks like anyway. And I'm not saying Trincao is amazing. Genuinely, I like Trincao. I think he's decent. I'm not saying Trincao is amazing, but at least Trincao, he has a work ethic. He presses a lot. He does defensive stuff. He's only been in England for 5 months, and he's done more defensive work than Adama Traore has done in 4 years. He can still do the dribbling stuff that Adama can. Obviously, way less, granted, but we have other players in the side that can dribble anyway. He can actually hold the ball. Like, obviously, his progressive passes are low. He's not particularly creative, but at least he holds the ball up at the pitch. And there's this myth of Adama Traore that people say he holds the ball up really well. No, he doesn't. Like, it's just, he hardly makes any passes, and when he does, they're bad. Like, at least Trincao can hold the ball up. And when you look at his non-penalty XG, it's 0.3. That's not incredible, but it's decent, especially for someone that's just moved to the Premier League. Adama's in 0.15. So that's what he's expected to get a goal every every 6 games. Like, these are just bad numbers, and they've been bad for 4 years. I know he had that little period in November 2019 to like March 2020, but apart from that, it's not better. And this is his worst season, by the way. He's 26 and this is his worst season. Even in his first season, he scored 2 goals and got an assist, I think. He's only got 1 goal this season in the league. Like, it's his worst season. He's 26. He clearly wants to leave. I don't get what people's obsession is. And with Trincao, like, I always hear our fans like abuse this guy, and especially Nathan Judah, the ENS guy. I like Nathan Judah, but Jesus Christ, the way he speaks about Trincao is embarrassing when you compare it to Adama Traore. At least Trincao works hard, and at least he fits a coherent system. Adama Traore's never done that in 4 years. And at least with Trincao, there's some underlying numbers that you look at and go, you know what, maybe there's something there. And with Trincao, he's been here 5 months. He doesn't speak the language. Again, Traore's been in England for 7 years, and he's been at Wolves for 4. And you can make a valid argument to say Trincao's got better numbers than Traore. You can also make the argument that Traore is a little bit better, but I would argue that Trincao's better. And he's been here for 5 months. Like, it's mental to me that people still keep making excuses for Adama Traore. Remove the fact that we love the guy as a bloke, because he does seem like a really good guy, and he makes you want to watch Wolves, especially last season. Although he was terrible, at least he was exciting. But that's not sustainable, and those underlying numbers are bad, and we need to move on. And it was the same with Rupert Tristan, it's the same with Adama Traore. Move on, stop rewriting history. It's like, when someone passes away and people act like they were a perfect human being and completely rewrite who they were, when in reality, no one's perfect. Everyone's made mistakes. It's the same with this. Like, there's a difference between wishing him well and kind of rewriting history and acting like he was this incredible player. He's not. And look, obviously, is it great that we're selling him mid-season? No. Are we going to bring someone else in? Probably not. Could it hurt our European search for European spots? Maybe. But in terms of the long-term future of that right-wing position, I'd much rather trust Trincao. He scored more goals at Braga than Traore scored in the last 3 years at Wolves. At least he works hard. He fits the system. He can hold the ball up. There's some stuff about him. Adama Traore just, it feels like his cycle's come to an end. I'd rather just give Trincao a chance, who's 4 years younger, personally, and just try and reinvest that Traore money and buy a central midfielder. I don't think we will. I've seen some rumours. Like I saw this earlier on Talking Wolves about Boubacar, another Traore. But if Wolves do this, sell a winger and go and buy a midfielder on deadline day, this is a better thing for the club. Look, I wish Adama Traore well. I really like the guy. I hope it works out for him at Barcelona and we get our money. But let's not bullshit ourselves and pretend Adama Traore is amazing all of a sudden, and this is a terrible decision. Getting potentially 35 million euros for Adama Traore is ridiculous. He's never worth 35 million euros. And if we somehow get that, big up George Mendes, because that is incredible business. And ultimately, look back to Adama Traore in 2018 when he's holding that shirt. We made a profit on him, but ultimately, he's not any better than he was, and we made a profit. So for me, that's a W. Good player, good memories, but let's just move on and not bullshit ourselves and pretend like he was some amazing player, because he wasn't. That's just my opinion, though. Feel free to disagree. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's see what happens on deadline day. Maybe we'll replace him. But personally, I think this is the right decision. It's a good move for him. It's a good move for us. Hopefully we can reinvest the money and move on. And let's just remember the good times, like away at Man City, instead of bullshitting ourselves and pretending he was like this amazing player, because he wasn't. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and yeah, peace.